Hi, I'm Malicious. Welcome back to my channel, where we have a plethora of random gaming content. For those of you that didn't know, my favorite genre is MMORPGs, and I'm here today to bring you wonderful news about the MMORPG genre and developments coming soon or that are live right now. I have about 15 years of MMORPG experience and have been playing them since I was a child, so there's definitely a love and passion for them here, but without much further ado, let us begin. So Elyon is a game that I've been looking at and I've covered a lot so far, and I'm loving the developments I'm seeing for sure. I cannot express just how excited I am by their latest announcement, but there is a measure of reserve there. I mentioned previously and discussed the big fights and the huge fight experience in MMORPGs and how much I loved the controlled chaos that flowed through an open battlefield. Well, Elyon has recently added a 300-player faction battle between the two main factions of the game, the Vulpin and the Ontari. It's supposed to be a 150 versus 150 fight, however they are meant to occur in a simultaneous 50 versus 50 match, which is an intriguing concept, so it'll be like 3 of those running around. I'd personally love to see a larger mess, but I suppose this is definitely controlled chaos in its own way. So according to some sources online, these battles will take place on Fridays and weekends. So if you're familiar with a certain weekend large fight that usually happens around since the Lineage days, Rohan Blood Feud, BDO Sieges, and many more, this will be similar in that sense. I believe based on the day, I'm interested to see whether it's all 3 days or if it's certain days that will be picked once or maybe twice a week for large fights. I'm personally expecting 1 day a week, but I would love to see more. These fights, however, will feature war machines and large mechs that the players can use. In case anyone didn't really know, Kakao is the publisher of this one, so I don't expect to wait too long before it comes to the West. So mid to late 2021 and we'll be able to play this game, which is really exciting. Now we get to the part about the reserve. I hear the game has somewhat been reworked for Unreal Engine 4, but I'm not sure how a game on Unreal Engine 3, which is it's made on, will be able to perform in large fights in large areas. If you guys remember the golden days of Terra, it was developed on Unreal 3 as well and had a habit of dropping FPS on even the best of PCs to the point where it was painful to play in larger rifts and stuff like that. So I am indeed hoping that whatever they do to Elyon before it does come to launch adds stability and lag testing, and I don't know if anybody's actually played any of these, large fights on the Elyon current client, but I'd love to see how that works. But I think at this point in our lives we are used to MMO launches and large fights, especially sieges or weekly events like this, usually either lag or there's some desync issue or other issues that I have lost count of. It's something to be aware of, and I'll definitely be playing this and keep you guys updated to the best of my ability. So, Neverwinter has announced a 3-part expansion called Sharandar. It will be set in the Forgotten Realms. Sharandar is an ancient elvish keep. Interestingly enough, there is a trailer for the first episode, which is scheduled to be released on PC and console, February 9th for PC and March 9th on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. The first chapter is supposedly called Episode 1, The Iron Tooth. The Episode 2 is called The Soul Keeper, and Episode 3 is called The Odious Court. We have yet to receive any information on those second 2 episodes yet. Let me just read you a little quote here. Adventurers are sent to the ruins of Malabog to investigate this disappearance of an elven dignitary. This episode introduces new and returning players to Feywild lands of Sharandar, in which they'll find the new Sharandar social hub, the Ruins of Malabog Adventure Zone, and the Vault of Stars dungeon, along with some epic rewards. So, are you guys excited about the Neverwinter new expansion? It's been a while since I've heard anything about this game, and it sort of felt like it fell into obscurity, but if you're interested, let me know in the comments. So, Albion time. Albion Online is revamping their faction warfare system, which is going to be interesting for sure. They've announced the schedule for it and the upcoming playtests before it goes live. The new faction warfare system will be arriving later this year in a few days from now on January 16th. It will be the perfect time for playtesting. Players will have the choice to fight for either the Thetford or Fort Sterling factions. Players will be able to equip themselves via free crafting stations, repair gear for free at any outpost, and the battles will be restricted to yellow zones on the map and will not be full loot. All of this will take place on the staging server, so if you plan on playing or testing that out, now is the time, folks. The faction warfare rework system is only the first step, apparently, for Albion Online's 2021 plan. The rest of the content to come is as follows, so bear with me while I go through this. Improving Hellgates to make fair, smaller scale PvP widely accessible and rewarding. Loadouts, which allow you to save, share, and quick equip item sets on your character. There will be improvements to the open world and world design, for example, reworking the fundamental building blocks of the world, improving visual quality while reducing dead ends and nonsensical layouts, improving open world locations like large static dungeons, making them high value hotspots, making treasure appear less predictably to trigger smaller scale fights as intended, improving the world map with more information about ongoing activities. There will also be quality of life improvements, for example loadouts for quick equipping items, additional functionality to quick buy loadouts from marketplaces, adding better information about actual costs to the crafting UIs, tackling long-standing convenience issues like a use-all functionality for tomes and silver bags, combat improvements, which seem a little more exciting, giving each type of mount, even non-rare mounts, their own spells and abilities, further expansion of equipment choices available to players, and their mobile version of the game. So 2021 will be the year Albion Online officially releases for phones and tablets, and it will launch on both iOS and Google Play stores. So that's something to look forward to if you are a mobile MMO gamer and you're part of the Albion community in the first place. So, Project Relic. Now this is a new game, unlike many we've seen before. The difference here is the game is developed by a 5-man indie South Korean group known as Project Cloud Games. According to some people, they have some real veterans within the Project Cloud Game squad. And for a 5-man team and a prototype trailer that's playing on screen right now, you can definitely see that there is some real talent or some real knowledge. The main rumors are that the team consists of veterans from games like League of Legends, Call of Duty, Marvel, and Star Wars: The Old Republic. The game itself is a prototype at the moment, and there will be a crowdfunding campaign set up for the future, I believe. The game is supposed to revolve around relics left behind by ancient human civilizations, which is an interesting theme, but that's all we really have to go off as of right now. It will definitely be online multiplayer and action-based from what we can see. The launch is supposed to be around 2022 for PC and consoles. However, since it is crowdfunded and Korean, there is no telling how long it will take and whether or not we'll be getting it in the West anytime soon at all, or if at all. From the footage, bearing in mind that it is still a work of progress and subject to a lot of change, the graphics look pretty good. It's giving me sort of a foggy forest and such vibes where you're not sure what could be lurking in the darkness but you press on anyway sort of feel, you know, like Dark Souls and stuff like that. The very little we see from the combat, considering there is no UI, so I can't tell what buttons are being pressed, and if they are skills or anything, it seems to be action combat from an early glance, at least from my eyes, but doesn't seem too bad. There is definitely some sort of poise and parry mechanics from the way certain boss in the trailer seems to slump down to their knees after a specific, number of parries, I believe. There's a lot of explosions, and it seems like the view is limited in this one area of fighting. As of so far, I would assume this is all they really have developed. I'm assuming this is some kind of boss, but not much else. So from just a first glance, indie studio or not, this looks pretty interesting. I'll keep an eye on it. If you guys would like, let me know if there's something I missed, or if you'd compare this game to anything at all, or even try it in the future. So, Gran Saga, created by NPixel, has released a bunch of new trailers to prepare for its release in Korea. Which, by the time this video is going to be released, it will already be available to play. I believe most of it is mobile footage. The game, however, is supposed to be cross-platform on PC and mobile, which seems interesting, but I think most people who know me know that I lack enthusiasm when it comes to mobile MMORPGs. I much prefer having full control, over the content and everything that's happening, and as little automated content as possible. I suppose it's more difficult when you've played PC MMOs your entire life to pick up a small screen and just let a bunch of stuff run, or play it like it's a Game Boy or something. It takes a lot of the feeling out for me personally, but I'm excited to see what you guys think about this game and the mobile MMORPGs or cross-platform mobile style MMOs in the future, or in general, so just let me know. It is worth mentioning that MPixel are also the same people working on the new MMORPG Chrono Odyssey that I've talked about and will continue reviewing. However, that game looks a lot more action-based and a lot beefier content-wise from the initial trailer, and is a completely different style. If you haven't checked that out, I highly recommend checking out one of my older videos on that, on Chrono Odyssey, and a few other MMOs are in there, but yeah, excited for that one for sure. Now this is an MMORPG I've not seen in a long time. RaiderZ, I believe, shut down about 5 years ago or so. However, recently the developers, Masangsoft, have graced us with a video that shows some of the new reworked areas. The game is due to be rebooted and re-released since the unfortunate shutdown years ago. I was never really big on RaiderZ since at the beginning it felt a lot like a Terra clone, down to the very last fiber. However, as the game progressed, it started to add its own flavor to the mix, and it sort of grew into its own game that was worth playing for many players. However, from what I can tell, the reboot will most likely focus on revamping the graphics and general visual style of the game. I personally don't think that they will do anything with the combat, which means it's just a visual overhaul and re-release. But I will keep an eye out and see if anything new is changed or added. There is a following of RaiderZ that really enjoy the game and are looking forward to its re-releasing. But I like to be cautious and do my due diligence when it comes to researching things like this, especially since we've been duped before in the past by MMORPG companies that decided repackaging games with 0 additions was a good idea, if you know what I mean. Regardless, however, I will keep you guys up to date on this with a no-nonsense policy. Here's to MMORPG success in the future, and let's see some good things coming out of this game and some others. That's all the news I have for this week, but before you go, I've got a question for any of you that made it this far. Where would you like to see me put my MMORPG experience in today's market? Are you interested in MMORPG podcasts, or the analysis of current MMOs on the market, or any other bits of information I take for granted? Maybe you'd like to see me revisit certain MMORPGs and give my full review on them from start all the way to end game. Not just a first impression or a first look, but a full alpha to omega playthrough. Let me know in the comments down below, or tweet at me, whether, whichever one you prefer. And yeah, thank you. I'm really excited about MMORPGs in general, and will continue to bring you as much great content as I can. All gaming, a lot of MMOs, but some other stuff for sure. It's still early days for this channel in a way, and I'm happy to have all of you here keeping me company. And if there's anything in general you'd want to see me do, I'd be doing some horror games on Twitch and a few other things. I'll be leaving the links to my socials in the description down below. I stream on Twitch and upload on YouTube regularly. I tweet some strange thoughts at a time, so hit me with a follow or a sub, hit the notification bell, join the Discord. Anything helps really, even a comment. And I really appreciate you all for being here in general. And as always, I've been Malicious, and this has been a pleasure.